Hey, this is Steve Goodner, and this is EQFIT Small Business Growth Lab. Um, Here we are, November the 1st, 2025. Don't usually put a date on these videos because what I share I think is good no matter where you are and what year it is. But bottom line, I wanted to share it because we're entering into that time of the year when the holidays come up and there's all kinds of confusion and things going in different directions. The title of this video is Clarity Over Chaos. And there's a lot of dimensions to that. This is the time of year, usually when business may slow down a little bit. That puts extra pressure on the small business owner. And what do we do about that? It's also the time of year that gives us probably one of the best opportunities to reevaluate, to think about where we are, pause, reflect, think about where you are right now, and then start thinking about applying consequential thinking. What if I went in this direction? How could I change this to improve it? So, this is also a very good time of year to gain clarity that will help us cut through the chaos because so many small business owners that I talk to, and in the last 2 months, I probably talked to over 750 small business owners. The challenge there is I see a lot of them busy, but not necessarily productive. And we want to be productive, right? We want our activity to lead to productivity. But the only way that happens is if it's the right activity. And that's what I want to bring this clarity to today. What's the right activity for all of us at a high level, but also for you individually? Well, I something that happens, and it's part of the title. We get triggered emotionally. Something happens, we go, "Oh, I got to do some marketing. I got to do some sales. I got to do this. I got to do that." You get triggered emotionally and you do what I call random acts of marketing or random acts of sales. There's nothing wrong with doing something. Something is better than nothing, right? But the reality is, if we really want to be effective, it needs to start with clarity and then create the messaging to get that clarity across to other people. And as you're doing that, that helps to define your activity so you're doing the right activities that will lead to the right productivity. So if you find yourself in that mode of what I call spin mode, where you're spinning, what do I do next? What's most important? Oh, I'm being pulled in six different directions. And we all get there as small business owners. But how do we really focus in on what we can do to make a difference today? And that's what I want you to focus on. Clarity can happen one day at a time. Yes, we need strategy. We need to think more long term. Absolutely. But there's a time for that. And the time for that is coming as we near the end of the year and start to think about our plans for next year. But the reality is, we need clarity every single day. That starts with understanding what you bring to the marketplace, what your differentiators are, how you want to present that, how you want to message that and be visible to people around that. But then once you've done those things, what are the right activities to get the productivity and the success that you want? The main thing that stands in the way of that is the chaos that comes from getting in spin mode, these emotional triggers that put you into some kind of spin mode. And spin mode may mean you get stuck. You may not be able to move forward. You may struggle with, I don't know how to do this. Some of us are better with technology than others. Some of us are better talking and communicating than others are. Some of us are better at the logical reasoning kind of thing. Um, None of us are good at everything. And so we have to put these liberating structures around the things we're not good at. What is a liberating structure? It's something that you can put in place that frees you up from doing something you're not as good at. So I believe very firmly in putting in good liberating structures to shore up your gap areas, your weaknesses, so that you can focus on what you're really good at. And that's what you want to do in a small business anyway. You want to do the thing you're really good at, the thing you have a passion for, the thing that you really want to bring to the world and to the marketplace. So I want to give you a couple of ways to think about these emotional triggers that happen. Almost always, let me walk you through the science real quickly here. Something creates a thought in your brain. You immediately attach meaning to that thought, and then emotions are generated. From those three things, you start to create your self-talk. And a lot of times you're reinforcing your self-talk. So let's take it, for instance, you see something online that says, oh, you need this marketing program because this is how you're going to get the best leads and all of, okay, I need to do something. Emotional trigger. I had a thought, I need to improve my marketing. And the meaning you attach to it is my marketing is not good enough yet, which it may not be. That may be the truth. But then you're triggered emotionally and you get frenzied and frustrated and anxious and maybe excited. And that's okay too. But as you walk through those emotional triggers and they're impacting you, don't let them create more chaos. Pause, look at the patterns that are in play. We all have patterns. Patterns are what create our habits. And 40 to 90% of people's daily decisions and actions are done by habits. They're done habitually. Think of it as your autopilot. You want to have good habits, right? You want to have good patterns. So the question becomes, okay, I'm in this pattern. Is this a productive pattern? If it's not a productive pattern, let's exit. Let's plan a way out of that pattern so that we can be more productive and more effective in what we do. And that's a big part of what I want you to think about when we're talking about clarity over chaos. You are going to get hit from every direction with all of the things that you should be doing. And if you're not doing this or if you're not doing that, then you're going to be in trouble and it's not going to work for you. Let's redo that. Let's deconstruct that and look at what's really important. I need clarity for the long term in my goals and my objectives and what I want to fix, accomplish, or avoid. That's the three things we're all trying to do. In that process, I also need daily clarity or weekly clarity. How do I section off my time during the week, during the day, to do the most, to get the most out of my day, to be the most effective? Part of clarity over chaos is you're not going to be able to do everything for all people. And one of the most difficult things I've had to face over the years is prune it down, narrow it down, get focused. Let's get to that one primary thing that I can do to really make a difference in other people's lives and in their businesses. And what I've come down to is very simply, I help people grow themselves and grow their business because those two things have to go together. Most people do not get into business to become a salesperson. They get into business, they start their own business to do what's in their heart, what they're passionate about, what they're good at. And I help people figure out, how do we take that, put the right messaging around it, put the right skills and mindset in place so that they can find the success that they want. And that's unique to each individual. I am not going to be the person to come to you and say, you need to do this. This is the mindset. And if you don't have this mindset, you've got to have this winning mindset and it's one mindset. No, it's not. That's ridiculous. It doesn't work for everybody. Everybody's unique. We have our own background, experiences, culture, gifts, talents, skills, knowledge, experience, all of those different things. But that's the beauty of differentiation in the marketplace. Taking all of those things and molding them and shaping them into a message that you bring to people, that communicates, that engages, that connects, that builds trust, because that's where influence comes from. Honestly, sales is pretty simple. Sales is conversations with a purpose. And if you think that way, the whole emotional trigger thing around selling and sales, ooh, I'm not a salesperson. Ooh, I can't do that. That's awesome stuff for somebody else, not me. It's awful for me, awesome for them, that kind of thing. Bottom line, you can do it because it's just conversations about what you bring to help other people. And when you start to look at it that way, that's part of the mindset creation that I do in the EQFIT Activate process when I really help people. Let me give you a story about that. I'm working with a couple of different people right now. I'm working with several people, but I want to focus on two that I've just started working with. One of them is a coach, and they have a very unique clientele. I'm not going to go into all of that. I don't want to identify who the person is, but they're more on the creative side. And one of the cool things that I've been able to help this individual with is to understand they have real value they bring to their marketplace, to their ideal customers. And that value has a real place in the world, and how we're pulling everything together from this vast experience this person has and the knowledge they have, and we're kind of molding and shaping that in a way that is going to really gain some momentum pretty quickly. Then I have another person who is also a coach and a consultant that I'm helping grow their business. And this person's been in business a long time, but the sales thing has never been all that top of mind. It's been more referrals, and there hasn't really need to be an outbounding process, which reminds me of a third client I'm working with that has never had an outbounding process. Here's the point of all these stories. Let's get out of spin mode. Let's get clarity about what you bring to the marketplace. And when you have that clarity and truly believe in what you're bringing to the marketplace, that's critical. If you don't believe in what you're doing, you're not going to be able to get somebody else to believe in it. So pause, think about the patterns you're in, then plan your next steps. Small steps are fine. One little step at a time, getting you in the right direction. But I'm seeing people turning a new leaf in life by understanding that this whole thing of growing your business is not that difficult when you know how to communicate the value to other people and do it in a way that is highly engaging and not salesy, not pushy. That nobody likes that. None of us like that. But the bottom line is there has to be a pathway. That's what I love helping people do. Build that pathway. And that comes from clarity. So I'm going to stop at this video at the end of it with going back to the beginning, which is clarity. Be very clear and very honest with yourself. What is it that you bring to the marketplace that you care about, you're passionate about? You really want other people to be able to understand what you do and see what you do, and let them incorporate and engage with what you do. Get clarity around that first, what you're passionate about. Then we can get clarity around the messaging, the approaches, the tools that are needed, the systems, the processes. All of that is not that difficult to put in place. It's more driven by clarity that you bring first to yourself and then to the marketplace. I hope that helps today. Have a great day. Have a great weekend if you're watching this right now or on the weekend in the future. And we'll be back soon with the next version of this.